I just want to emphasize that these are actually two different concepts, although people sort of say them as if it's one. But social isolation is objective. It's a measurable deficiency in the number of social relationships that a person has. Although one has to say that, it's up to the person themselves really to define what would be a measurable deficiency, and people vary dramatically. Whereas loneliness is an internal, subjective experience that's an unpleasant sensation. It occurs when a person's social relationships are lacking in quality or quantity compared to what they desire. And again, that's very variable. People are very unique in this way. And there's a strong overlap, but they don't always overlap. So some people are very isolated, but not lonely. And other people are very lonely, but not isolated. So isn't that interesting? So some people can feel lonely even when they have lots of people around them. Which age group are the most likely, or is the most likely, lonely? And there's actually, the studies are all over the map here. Some people say old age, others say midlife, others say young people. So I think the bottom line is that at all ages, including younger adults, there is a lot of a feeling of loneliness and isolation. Interestingly, this comes from various data from different studies looking at different countries, mostly European. And interesting enough, this would show that the countries at the top, reporting most loneliness among older adults, are Mediterranean countries like Greece, Israel, and Italy, whereas the individuals at the bottom, less lonely, are more from Northern European countries. And US is at the bottom, and I find this strange and difficult to interpret. And I've shown this to various people, and they said, "Wow, the folks from Mediterranean countries are much more in touch with their emotions and much more likely to actually report how they're feeling." And I would think there's a lot to that. There's also more loneliness in marginalized communities. It's common among Hispanic, Black, immigrant, and LGBTQ plus individuals in the US. And there's lots of reasons why older adults are at increased risk. Some of the big ones include health and disabilities, and even things like sensory loss. Like if you have trouble with hearing, you can't hear people around you, you can't communicate. That's a huge factor if you think about it. Poverty and lack of resources. I mean, you need money in many ways to do things where you might connect with people. Not always, but it sure helps. So there's many things that come together. The biggest one, I think, of course, is life transitions and the fact that as you age, unfortunately, you're more likely to lose the people around you, your spouse, your relatives, your friends. So, and that's a huge factor, I think, as a catalyst for loneliness. And there's a kind of spiral of loneliness where you start off with negative thoughts, and difficult things happen to make you more likely to be on your own, and then you become more withdrawn, and then you become less active and more negative and further withdrawal, and it's a very negative circle or a spiral.